Tiruchi Siva, I called you? Yes.
Thank you, sir. Sir, Thomas Jefferson, the American founding father and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence and the third president of the United States, once wrote that every constitution naturally expires at the end of 19 years. Sir, this theory was further affirmed by an empirical study which came in a book titled The Endurance of National Constitutions by three researchers, also came to a conclusion that the average life of a national constitution is only 17 years in the past 200 years. That means no constitution has touched its 20th birthday. And they say some reasons for that. The degree of inclusion, the adaptive mechanism, and the specificity of the Constitution. So in the light of the above fact, our Constitution has stood the test of time and has endured for the past 66 years, which is a validation of the Constitution Assembly when the draft was, when the draft committee did its stupendous job, sir. Sir, the various committees and the subcommittees and the efforts put in by the Constituent Assembly members and the inclusion of members from various states, from various regions, make the world known that our Constituent Assembly included members from all strata and from all states. And moreover, their contribution was immensely appreciable, sir. And moreover, to say that the longevity and the flexibility of our Constitution depends upon the amending of the Constitution. That is Article 368. Sir, we can amend the Constitution to suit to the day of the need. And this Constitution, I think, has survived many times with 100 amendments more, and our Constitution is still an example and the best in the world, sir. Sir, as for being detailed, the whole credit goes to Dr. Ambedkar, whose 125th birthday we are celebrating, and he was the chairman of the draft council, drafting committee, sir. And so to say, and in the Constitution Assembly, or rather in the draft committee, 7,463 amendments were moved, were tabled, and 2,435 amendments were moved, sir. When Dr. Ambedkar Sahib, in the year 1946, November 25th, in his concluding speech, when he spoke, it was very, very remarkable, and to be quoted, sir, it is very, very, I think, right to mention at this moment. He says that time has been consumed a lot, public money has been wasted, and they have been discussing without any outcome. Dr. Ambedkar confessed this in his concluding speech and said that they compare it with other constitutions like American, South African, and Australian and Canadian. Because the American Constitution was drafted within 4 months. And so also the South African was within 9 months. But Ambedkar said, kindly consider that those constitutions were adapted as it was moved without any amendments. And it's very strange to note that American Constitution has got only 12 articles and it has got only 21 sections. So also Australian Constitution, it is also, sir, very much less. It is about, Canadian has 147 and Australian 128 and African 153 sections. Our Constitution has got 395 articles and 8 schedules. And Ambedkar goes on much more to say, sir, his magnanimity has to be considered now, sir. And I have to come to the second part later. Now he is hailed across the world and his sayings and his writings are being celebrated even by the Britain, sir. Our Ambedkar, Dr. Ambedkar, the magnanimity he had, he shared the claim, not only, he didn't share the claim with him only, sir. He shared the claim with everyone. The credit was shared. And I think this is the right time to say, I quote Dr. Ambedkar, I came into the Constituent Assembly with no greater aspiration than to safeguard the interests of the scheduled castes. I had not the remotest idea that I would be called upon to undertake more responsible functions. There were in the drafting committee men bigger, better, and more competent than myself, such as my friend Sir Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer. Sir, the Lok Sabha has passed a resolution after the discussion on the Constitution Day. And I think we are also going to adopt the same resolution, maybe with amendments or with some changes. We have given an amendment. We have also asked to include the name of, on behalf of our party, myself and Ms. Kanimuri have given a suggestion that Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer's name should be included in that. Sir, there are many names in the resolution. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel and many other names. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Maulana Azad and all. But these names, I was told that we cannot include so many number of names. Sir, this is the time we are not yet relieved of the agony we have been suffering all these days. Even since the freedom struggle, the South Indians have not been recognized to the extent they should have been. Sir, we are compelled to think in that way. V.O. Chidambaram, yes, all through the time, since even from the time of the freedom struggle, all the sacrifices we have put in have not been considered at all. V.O. Chidambaram's sacrifice during the freedom struggle is uncomparable. His name never comes in the annals of the history. So also it is said that freedom struggle started in 1857, but Veerabhadya Kattamman was hanged in the year 1799. Velinachar, Marudupandiyar, so many people, Tipu Sultan was there. So many people have sacrificed their life against the British, but those names have not come. So also even now, after all these 66 years, when we are celebrating the Constitution Day, and we are saying that we are the #1 country in everything, even now, this region-wise discrimination is there. Ambedkar said, caste and creed discrimination is there. But we feel that region-wise discrimination still continues. Otherwise, this name would not have been neglected. What Dr. Ambedkar says, Alladi Krishnaswamy Iyer is much better and bigger than me, but they have chosen me as the chairman of the drafting committee means he recognized him to that level. But sir, we don't degrade anyone. We say that we should also be recognized. Dr. Ambedkar's contribution was immense.
I support you.
Thank you. Patabi Sitaramaya said about Dr. Ambedkar, what a steamroller intellect he has brought upon to take up this magnificent task. Irresistible, indomitable, and unconquerable. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad told the same. If at all, please, the ministers, kindly please allow us to speak. Dr. Rajendra Prasad said, if at all we have done anything best in this Constituent Assembly is that we have elected Dr. Ambedkar in this drafting committee and made him as the chairman of the drafting committee. So the president of the Constituent Assembly himself confessed that Dr. Ambedkar's contribution was immense. Sir, he went on to the extent of speaking in the concluding speech, what all the efforts they put in, how many people have contributed. He said, Dr. P.N. Rao, the Constituent Advisor to the Constituent Assembly. And for the sake of Mr. Derek, I would like to say, he also quoted, much greater share of the credit must go to Mr. Mukherjee, the chief draftsman of the Constitution. His ability to put the most intricate proposals in the simplest and clearest legal form can rarely be equal, nor his capacity for hard work. S.N. Mukherjee.
No,
S.N. Mukherjee. Yes, S.N. Mukherjee. And further he goes on, sir, the task of the drafting committee would have been a very difficult one if this Constituent Assembly has been merely a motley crowd, a tessellated pavement without cement, a black stone here and a white stone there, is which each member or each group was a law unto itself. There would have been nothing but chaos. This possibility of chaos was reduced to nil by the existence of the Congress party inside the assembly, which brought into its proceedings a sense of order and discipline. It is because of the discipline of the Congress party that the drafting committee was able to pilot the Constitution in the assembly with a sure knowledge as to the fate of each article and each amendment. The Congress party is therefore entitled to all the credit for the smooth sailing of the draft Constitution of the assembly. Sir, I am not eulogizing the Congress. What Dr. Ambedkar, he shared the credit to each and everyone. But he went on further to say, see, the party discipline in all its rigidity would have converted this assembly into a gathering of yes men. Fortunately, there were rebels. They were Mr. Kamath, Mr. Deshmukh, Mr. Sidhwa, Professor K.T. Shah, and Pandit Hirday Nath Kunsu. So he said, oh, I would not have listened, I would not have included your suggestions, but I value your suggestions. But for your contribution, this drafting committee would not have accomplished its job was the magnanimity of Dr. Ambedkar. Sir, Dr. Ambedkar's analysis of the degraded social inequalities in our nation, which has led to the exploitation and expulsion of the suppressed caste, is recognized across the world today, sir. We should consider in this globalization world where I think the neoliberal policies have increased the higher levels of inequalities. It has caused depression. It has caused frustration in the minds of ordinary people. The English, the Guardian newspaper journal, which comes from London, has recently invoked Dr. Ambedkar. It says that, it has quoted, Ambedkar said, how long shall we continue to deny equality in our social and economic life? If we continue to do so, it would be only by putting it the peril of our democracy. And the Guardian has said that what Ambedkar said in the year 20th century is just as relevant for the 21st century Britain also. So Britain is considering Ambedkar's words in those days. Martin Luther King III, the son of Martin Luther King Jr., when he wanted to highlight the decline of the employment and educational opportunities to the blacks, he only invoked Dr. Ambedkar. Sir, much more to say, and very proud to say, recently a Maoist leader who has given up violence, it was published in the Al Jazeera website on December 20th, 2013. It says, the Maoist leaders are now quitting violence because of the impact of Dr. Ambedkar, and Ambedkar's thoughts on them. The confession of a Maoist leader. We realized the blunder of not studying Ambedkar, leader of the so-called lower castes or Dalits. All the while, we are focused only on other leaders who was away from the country. We believe that we have much to learn from the Gandhian movement as well. Sir, the inequalities which he concentrated. Sir, the creed and caste he contested. See, I am proud. I am from the DMK party. The sir, the Dravidians movement, today's symbol of a political organization which has done a lot. But for Periyar, but for Anna, but for Kalaignar, we would not have been here, sir. Social justice is the core thread of our movement. Ambedkar and Tandai Periyar thought in the same manner. Ambedkar said, we get political equality, but not social equality. That's what Periyar also said. What do we get through religion? What do we get through God? What do we get through independence when we are being suppressed because of this and that? When Dr. Ambedkar moved the Hindu Code Bill, there were oppositions. He quoted the scriptures and said, your own scriptures say, give property rights to women, then why you deny them? Ambedkar said that in the later days. In the year 1929 itself, our Tandai Periyar, in a conference, passed a resolution that women must be given ancestral property rights. And the year 1989, when our leader Dr. Kalaignar was the chief minister, he brought a legislation that property rights would be given to women. Sir, we don't give only lip sympathy, sir. We are blood and soul attached to these policies. So also only one more thing, sir. As far as federalism is concerned,
okay.
Dr. Ambedkar said the center cannot on its own will alter the boundaries of the state's powers. He said that the legislative and the executive authority cannot be decided by one law but by the constitution. Sir, the DMK government in the 1969 appointed a committee under Justice Rajya to go into the center-state relationships, which recommended for an interstate council, which was implemented in the 1990, again by our own instigation. Only one word, sir. Ambedkar never resorted to unconstitutional methods. He said anything against the law, anything against jurisprudence, anything against human rights, I am against it.
Okay.
Abandon the grammar of anarchy. Sir, only 1 minute, sir. Kindly, sir. Only 1 minute. Only 1 minute, sir.
No, please, why are you interfering?
Sir. Only, sir, just 1 minute. Kindly. I will conclude, sir. Only 1 minute. Okay. He said, kindly abandon the grammar of anarchy. His slogan was educate, organize, and agitate. He was a staunch believer of democracy. He said, never resort to unconstitutional methods. Believe in the parliamentary democracy. And he said that there were caste and creed once. Hereafter, the political parties will take it up. Sir, I want to conclude. I want to quote and just, sir, wind up. Only one word, sir. Please. Ambedkar with, sir, just one word.
Okay, please.
Sir,
no, that's okay. Please conclude.
Winding it up.
Please conclude.
Sir, very, very important. He said
no, your time
sir,
is over.
Only one moment, sir.
No, please.
In addition to our old enemies in the form of castes and creeds, we are going to have political parties with diverse and opposing political creeds. Will Indian place the country above their creed, or will they place creed above country?
Okay.
He then calls upon Indians to defend our
All right.
independence with the last
Shivaji, please.
Sir, please. Dr. Ambedkar requests Indians to resort to constitutional methods for achieving economic and social objectives. Seppumudi 18 உடையாள் எனில் சிந்தனை ஒன்றுடையாள் was Subramania Bharatiya said. We have got so many languages, but our face and thought are only one. So also I request all the political parties, all of us
Okay.
here, let us resolve on this day
All right.
when we are celebrating Constitution Day that the
Okay.
country should be placed above everything.
Now it's okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.